Welcome back to Ranged Only, the Wuthering Waves series where I only use ranged characters. Well, I feel like I should change that and say I only use pistol characters because the next character coming out, Chacona, which we will meet in just a tiny bit, does equip a pistol, but actually uses her instrument in fighting, which is going to be an interesting thing to actually have a melee character in here. But then again, for example, the charge attack for Carlotta and the Forte and the E pretty much put you in melee range and you have to get out of there, unlike other characters which like Alto, which wants to stay way away. Speaking of Alto, I did do a temple of normal ones and I got another Alto constellation, which is awesome. Damage of resonance skill miss bullets is increased by 30%. Alto receives 30% less damage in his Forte circuit Mystic Cloak dash state. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, so what do I have planned for today? Just pretty much get through the latest story in WUA. I haven't actually done a video since the beginning of the year when I got home from Christmas and I did the Carlotta video. And that timeline pretty much tells you how much I've slacked off when it comes to YouTube. But yeah, let's get to it. Let's actually meet Chacona because she is gorgeous. There's one thing I really enjoy about this story, especially in this patch, and that is the rover actually talks a lot more. Because in previous patches, the rover would talk from time to time, but now they talk a lot. And I'm really enjoying that. Now, I want to take a look at that mural, but I guess before we do that, it's time to take a look at Chacona. I do have a video on the drip marketing for both her and Zani out, if you will do want to watch that as well. I do go slightly more in depth than what I'll talk about in this video.
Music itself holds no emotion. It's the heart that grants it meaning. So, dear listener, tell me, what feelings did my piece evoke in you?
I would say relaxation and warmth. Yeah, but the dialogue choice options do not have voices.
A very valuable insight. Thank you. That brings me closer to completing my piece.
And that's another thing I've seen, at least happening in Star Rail as well. It's introducing characters before their main story takes place. Like, you get to see Chacona and have a little bit of a chat with her and see her personality, which is actually something I'm disappointed when it comes to Cantarella. You genuinely do not know anything about her until this story starts and you're just told she's evil, and then, well, she's not evil. Of course she's not evil because she's a playable character. Actually, the first evil characters that could be playable would be Fralova or Scar. But I do guess Cristoforo could also count. Yeah, Cristoforo is indeed part of the Fraxidus, so that's gonna be interesting. But yeah, because up until this point I don't think we've really had any villainous characters. At most antagonistical in nature, but not really villainous. Anyway, I am even more glad than you are because I cannot wait to have 5 characters. One more and we can actually do 2 floors of the tower, which is going to be quite nice. And the more characters, especially limited, I'm gonna have, the more chances I'm gonna have to also complete more endgame content slowly but surely. But I don't think I'm gonna do a video focusing on that at least until I get myself 2 full teams. So this is quite interesting for a musician because she's a musician and she's able to recreate frequencies. It does make sense, right? Especially since frequencies are all about like music and sound waves. So yeah, she is able to pretty much send you back and relive your memories. But an interesting thing is, if a resonator is really well in tune with their own frequency, I'm guessing, or actually, that is a good question. Why exactly can Kartathea feel us back in this memory, and as you'll see in a bit, come into the scene? Yep. Is able to resonate with like what we're experiencing right now. I wonder if it's because of her second awakening or because she is a Sentinel Resonator. Oh, she's so worried about us.
Any headache, tingling feet, upset stomach?
No, no, and no. I do like also the non-symmetry of her tacit mark. Like, it's not in a place where you could say it's symmetrical to the design in general. And I think other than that, it's her hair and her horns that are also non-symmetrical.
Wait a second.
The Maiden, the Defier, the Death Crier. Yeah, I did play through this story on my main account, so I do know what's going to be to happen. And yeah, it's pretty good story, I'm not gonna lie. I'll talk about it as I do go through. Hello, Cantarella. But yeah, the story is quite interesting because the Thernodian played both sides.
Matriarch of the Phasalia family. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance.
The only thing I don't necessarily get is that aren't all the statues in Reina Sita the Sentinel in this form, or am I just straight up misremembering it? Because you do see the corrupted form at the end during the cutscenes, but don't all of the statues have hooves and a single horn? Oh right, I guess if I had waited 5 more seconds, it would have been explained. So then that means that the Sentinel itself is just straight up a Pegasus. Was there a different from when a Pegasus has a horn? Was the Pegasus only the horse with wings? Anyway. I don't have my horse lore in order.
Although the Sentinel's will has yet to fade to his own.
So yeah, it's interesting how different Sentinels end up choosing their Resonators in different ways. And even like influence them. For example, in Jinshi's case, she was resurrected through time manipulation. And in the case of the maidens chosen by the Imperator, they have a portion of their power split and then given back by like Imperator's own power. And yes, this is the sword with which the Physiala family's matriarch to be were trying to resonate with the Imperator, because because the Imperator was indeed corrupted during the when the tide came back when Carthethia was the maiden. After the fight during that time period, the Imperator was corrupted, and the Thernodian tried to steer the history and belief of the people away from the truth. Which, in a weird way, sort of turns the roles around, with making the Order to be the ones. Which makes the Montellis seem a bit like the bad guys, but then again, that's not true. That's not true, because the Physialas don't necessarily, like, have as much to do with the Order of the Deep. So technically, there are 3 different major powers within Renacita, with the Montellis, the Physialas, and the Order in general. But yeah, so the truth is pretty much hidden by the Physialas, as they are the only ones who know it and the only ones who can try to fight for it. Meanwhile, the Montellis are still trying to fight for the good of Renacita, but they don't necessarily know the truth about the Sentinel. This is actually talked about a bit later. I believe that Carthethia indeed resonated with the Imperator and not the Thernodian, because or maybe that's why the tide, the black tide, the dark tide came, because she resonated with the Thernodian. If only I had paid more attention. Good point, right? So yeah, now our job is to take this train car and find Carthethia. Pretty much find the inverted spire and find her to learn the full truth. Well, that is not a fun way to do things.
Outside, do they call me the
Of course,
Queen?
Cantarella has a very interesting story with her, this whole generational trauma thing with the poisoning of the previous leader of theFicialas. Because initially I wasn't sure what to think of the character because I just saw her marketing and everything, which was all about like, hey, look at this character, she's scantily clad and everything. Also, yeah, it's time for, I believe, the first time we have to use a character other than the pistol characters, which is the one thing I really want this game to address, and that is making you specifically fight with the character. I get it. You want to sell Cantarella, so you need to give people a way to play her in a main story situation, because people might not do the story quest for the character, so they might not get to trial them. So you want to try to do it with the character during the story when they're introduced and when you play as them. But please, Kuro, give us the choice to use her as a fourth character or replace the third slot. So that for people who are doing challenge runs, they can at least, you know, do the challenge properly throughout the whole game. Again, as per the rules, I can use the trial resonator if it's my only choice. No usage of the echo unless it is a ranged echo either. So yeah. It's unfortunate, but it has to be done because of how the game is.
Get used to it too.
You know, there was a game, I believe, called Gravity Rush at some point. I've never played it. But I was thinking, wouldn't it have been kind of cool if you were able to use the gravity changer at will, rather than having to go to specific preset points? Man, I don't wonder how laggy it would be, because most likely the change in gravity is, whatchamacallit, maybe hides a loading screen of sorts. But yeah, it would have been quite interesting.
The dark time.
Oh, right. I forgot to talk about it at the very beginning of the episode. There will be an event. Have I unlocked it already? Is this one? This one. Where at the very end, you have to fight an enemy with a rover. I just wanted to bring it up because I will be doing that, but I'm going to be doing these events during my Easter break, which is when I will be going home, so I will not be able to record it, but I will be doing that part, so it's going to be one fight that I'll be doing. It's going to be off camera, just so you guys know. But yeah, this whole part, what even is the name? The Avinoleum? Anyway... This place, you pretty much go through a bunch of battles, a bunch of puzzles, and then you end up learning more about Carthathia because she was she studied in here. Oh, you can actually go back down. I didn't even realize that. She studied in here, and then she made friends and everything. And you do end up meeting some of the Tacit Discords and some of the characters that were actually part of her life back before she became the Holy Maiden. You don't say, Cantarella.
Oh dear.
I completely forgot about this, did you? Actually, what happens if I say to go with Cantarella first? Because, happy.
Me?
Yes.
Now is not the time to be so careless after that promise you just made to Cartathea.
Aww.
You should focus on learning more about this place from her.
I was thinking for as distrustful of Cartathea as she is, she still cares, but then she just wants more info about this place, which is understandable. So yeah, you can't actually choose. I guess it does make sense because this is Cartathea's entire area.
A few details, if you don't mind. Feeling nervous? Of course. The last time I tried to pass it like this...
I feel like you should have began to explaining it like a couple minutes earlier, maybe before we left for this. Oh, hello. Yeah, they are pushing Cartathea as like romantic interest for the rover quite hard, and to be totally fair, I do not mind it.
Where were my manners? I can assure you that won't happen again.
It's quite unfortunate that Cartathea is going to be a sword character, most likely. I don't wonder what this is about. Anyway, I do wonder. No. Wrong words. I'm sad that Cartathea is most likely going to be a sword character because of the weapon, because of Thervine. And also, actually, the weapon that her other form uses is more like a broadsword. But yeah, I do wonder if every resonator, if every sentinel resonator will actually have a different weapon. So maybe the next the next sentinel resonator we'll meet in the next region is also going to be a pistol. Yeah, and here we go, the first fighter I have to use Rover. Ouch. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but most of the fights in this area, if not all of them, are going to be with the Rover. Including the final boss fight, but for the final boss fight, I can go ahead and do one run with my main team, of course. But yeah, as always, I'll show the fights. I actually have her appear twice, so that she cleans as I go between. Anyway, I will be showing the fights, most likely sped up, so, you know, I don't waste too much time on fights that aren't with pistols and stuff. Yeah, so the main gameplay of this area is pretty much going in a straight line and doing a couple puzzles here and there. I don't know, it's a bit annoying, right? It feels a lot like a dungeon more than a new area. But then again, technically the proper new area is, if I map, is this one. Right? This is technically the new area together with Anviolium. But again, this one feels a lot more like a puzzly dungeon that you would go into in a Zelda game, you know? And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but generally speaking, with an open world, but then again, Zelda's Breath of the Wilds and Tears of the Kingdom's dungeons were pretty good, so... Aw, thank you for worrying about us, but we're all good. Yeah, Cadrilla will leave to do her own thing after we spend the night in the tower, but it's not really that big of a deal. She is going to find answers about the frequencies of the previous resonators who tried to resonate with the Sentinel. Which is actually quite sweet that she cares so much about the children of the Physialis. Again, you can, as you play through the story, you will, if you go through it and you read the dialogue, you do realize that Cantarla actually is a very caring person, which is really nice. Because again, initially when I saw her design, I thought she was just going to be here to sell the sexy appeal of the character without actually having much depth. But in reality, I was wrong. I was very wrong, and I actually really like that. Because while I do love myself a good design, if you know what I mean, I also want the character to have depth and to be like a character and not just a 3D model there to look pretty, you know?
Oh, I insist. Here.
So yeah, there are 2 more towers that we have to visit.
Bear these thorns as a reminder.
And yeah, you do get pretty much Kartatia's entire memories and her backstory through these little cutscenes. Yeah, right, I forgot you do have to fight some more enemies with Cantarella.
Away quietly and avoid any
Man.
now.
And I guess it's time to fight Spyro's little cousins. Yeah, I only now realize they're purple, you know, like Spyro. Or are they blue? I think they might just be blue. Anyway, same thing.
Which last one?
Gehenna. Ever heard of it?
And this is quite a cool reveal that the dragon that you can fight, I think it's a weekly boss, is actually Cantarella's dragon from when she was part of the Academia. Which is really cool, as it ties things together.
It's Hogness. There's a gravity calibrator behind the collapse.
But yeah, now we're pretty much just looking for the other 2 swords so we can break the rest of the seals on the main chamber, where our goal is.
Hear the joyous songs of the masses than any solemn hymn of remembrance. Perhaps the sentinel feels the same.
Honestly, speaking of Cristoforo, the rover doesn't know that he's part of the Frexidus.
No matter
Oh god, please, move correctly. I really don't like when the gondolas hit something, they just like reverse the direction you turn in. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Cristoforo, you know, the rover here, the learning that he's the Frexidus. Now, I do wonder, does Cristoforo have any knowledge of the past, like the actual truth? You know, since the Frexidus seem to be a step ahead from time to time. But then again, I don't think it's like, you know, I don't think it's like the Fatui from or the Abyss from Genshin, because the Abyss has a ton of knowledge, and the Fatui have pretty much a god from before the Cataclysm at the helm, so she would also have a ton of knowledge. And we don't know much about the Frexidus at this point, to be fair. And the second seal is gone. 1 more left. Yeah, and here we do see the second attack of the tide, of the Dark Tide. And we do see the corrupted form of the Sentinel in here.
Release my resonator. Why dost thou persist? Why abandon thy oath? Why hinder the spread of my gospel?
And yeah, the Thernodian pretty much spreads through fate, right? So with the Thernodian taking over and becoming the new Imperator, it would have been able to spread its power by turning people against what they were following before through fake faith, which is an interesting way to take over a nation to begin with.
You are a false divinity. Gehenna will reveal the truth.
Cadento,
Oh yeah, I remember this guy.
not who
This is pretty much a boss fight, and it's actually quite cool the way like it's thematic to. He has a. They took the worst lessons from Dark Souls, meaning like they have grab attacks, and I do not like grab attacks. They're so annoying. Because like you take such a high amount of damage if you don't dodge them. Depending on how fast they come, they might be hard to dodge anyway. But yeah, don't think that he's that easy because... Okay. Oh, wait. Wasn't he supposed to come back? Oh, I think I have to fight him multiple times on...
Identical to the, but we have to remove the shackle.
Yeah, on each of the different like little areas I have to fight him again and again.
He's a tough cookie. I want to eat. Huh?
I'll handle this.
To think that after so much time, he was still trying to protect her. Wanted to test us to see if we're worthy of becoming her her new protector.
Please, allow him to fight at your side.
I'm sorry, but like, he uses a sword, not a gun. I'm sorry. I feel bad now. And now for the final memory and final seal.
Fleur-de-Lis, wilt thou return to me?
Someone must expose your lies. As long as there is a sliver of hope, I will not give up.
Is that so? Fleur-de-Lis, why dost thou resonate with me? Why dost thou hear into the minds of the faithful? Why dost thou act as my oracle? All this, and yet... The answer, Fleur-de-Lis. I made thee, thy life, all that thou art. I fed upon the trust, adoration, and longing heaped upon thee. But thy resonance brought forth the second.
Ah, that is quite heavy. Also, I didn't even realize that this card... I might have not paid as much attention when I first played through this. I didn't realize this Carthia was part of the consciousness, so I guess the one inside the tower there is the full, like, heal self. I guess that also explains why that one looks older compared to the one we travel with. I'm actually quite curious which form we'll actually get when she becomes playable, because there's no way she doesn't become playable.
Preparations were futile. Please, tell her I'm sorry. I can't hold it any longer!
Why? Why are you doing this? Neither Cartathea nor Fleur-de-Lis should continue to exist.
You do not escape the Gathering Wives allegation so easily. We need to get all the wives, don't we?
Don't go.
I heard your request. But I prefer to handle this my way.
Yeah, you go, Rover. Time to end this.
The lost memories fall into this sonorosphere, each carrying faint traces of the Sentinel's power.
Yeah, this is what I was saying about giving a part of their power.
Turvin absorbs this energy. The Sentinel's energy flows through you, but you, Cartathea, you alone must choose to wield it. Only then.
Does it also hold the sacrifice you made?
No, my sacrifice was used up long ago.
And here we go to, I feel like, the most interesting part.
At the time I resonated with the Sentinel, I saw you. Or rather, I saw Fleur-de-Lis battling the Threnodian. In that moment, I made a sacrifice that would shift the balance of power.
Was it?
The energy I received from the Sentinel's second.
Help Cantarella's sacrifice, the possibility of having a second awakening and becoming a lot more powerful, pretty much on Jinshi's, like Jinshi post second awakening, in order to allow the Sentinel, well, allow Fleur-de-Lis to be able to cut down the Sentinel and, well, have this chance of defeating the Threnodian once and for all, once Rover arrives.
I split it from myself and offered it back to the Sentinel so they could, for a moment, regain control of their body. Only by doing this could Fleur-de-Lis seize the moment to kill the already tainted Sentinel. So the real Blessed Maiden is dead. But there is no reason why the false Blessed Maiden cannot herself become the true Blessed Maiden, is there?
Man, this cutscene is impressive. Oh boy! Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! I did not expect it to just start so quickly. Well, I was wondering if we would get Kanthia in this form, but to be totally fair, it's way too tall for a playable model, unless they would scale her down. But I do hope that maybe this form's gonna be like playing a part in her kit. I don't remember, do I have to like actually lose here, or... Because there's more to this fight than just fighting Fleur-de-Lis.
You would betray yourself.
No! This is not betrayal!
A person of true character should never be defined by an inanimate blade. Both you and I were cursed to be mere playthings of the Threnodian. But that doesn't mean we cannot reshape our fate.
In the end, no matter what anyone else says, as long as you stay true to yourself, everything will be all right.
This is me being true to myself!
Imperator? No. Your own power. Useless.
I love how she uses all three swords.
I am not useless! No retreat! At least, break, damn it!
Actually, now that I realized, Kathia gives me Zelda vibes. Both because she has elf ears and, you know, the general aesthetic, but also the story. It's compared to Breath of the Wild. Well, as in her feeling powerless and whatnot and having to find a way to use her power to save the people she loves.
I tried everything. How could this be? Again, I failed. I'm sorry. This warm light must not fade. Take my power, my blessings, my past. Seek out a future where I am your blade. We'll find it together. Righteous one.
Yeah, I think I should have picked a better name. Oh yeah, now this is a cool way to get a new element. Well, it's time for Arrow Rover, the third, right? Third element for Rover. So, I haven't even read this properly. Enhanced mid-air attacks, intro skills, and basic attacks accumulate wind string. Reach max wind string to cast an enhanced resonance skill. So, I think for this, because we have access to 3 rovers, I'll try to use purely Arrow Rover. Yeah, I gotta say, this fight is really cool. I will fight the weekly boss version of this after we're finished with the story. Oh yeah, and we're over using all the elements. That's also really cool. This is a scene I did not expect to see. Like, actually impaling Fleur-de-Lis.
Seek out a future where I am your blade. We'll fight it together. The frequency in her body is already...
Arbiter, despair not, for all is not lost.
Characters. Honestly, I feel like they quite sold Carthea being dead, and I wish they would have let it sell in just a tiny bit more before having the talk with the Imperator.
Arbiter, forgive me for meeting thee in such a form.
Now, I really wish we saw Imperator in 3D, like the actual model, the same way we saw Jue. But I feel like the reason why we didn't is because it's not yet in the game. Because technically Imperator is dead. Right? After reviving Carthea in this scene, the Imperator is pretty much going to be gone. And I'm curious what's going to happen with the region without the Sentinel, right? Unless the Sentinel can be revived, then it's going to be the plot point of a future patch. Which I feel like is a possibility. I wouldn't be too surprised if Fraxidus come again to try to take control over a different Sentinel and try to revive Imperator.
Imperator?
I safeguarded my core data. Lest
Right, and once again, having the Sentinels talk as if they were programmed like a computer. Like, I'm genuinely curious to learn more about Rover's past and what exactly they did in the past. Like, these, I guess they're talking about data because the Sentinels are like very powerful echoes, maybe? Because I believe the Montellis also can program echoes, right? And in general, Renacita is like a place where echoes can be programmed and rewritten, right? So I guess then it would explain why the Sentinels talk as if they are computers and whatnot. They are pretty much uber sentient echoes.
Dost thou remember the covenant we made? Soon thou didst desire that I uncover the Threnodian's true nature. So I set forth a condition.
So yeah, it seems like the Threnodian was a thing. Well, actually, it does make sense because the first Dark Tide came a long time ago, way before Karthatia's time. So, but it's interesting, right?
With unrestricted access, you were going to
merge with
Right. So this is interesting because we saw during the Black Shores part of the story that the rover did not agree with the ways the computer in the Black Shores was trying to research. I don't remember the names. The apocalypse, pretty much. The apocalypses that usually happen every once in a while. And I'm curious, why did Rover allow Imperator to do pretty much the same thing and assimilate itself with Leviathan? Right, in order to stop it or to even research it. I guess it's also because the rover we play as currently is different than the rover from the past because, well, they don't have all their memories.
So I allowed it to believe it had prevailed. The Threnodian is a taint upon civilization. Only by partaking of it.
So, what did you learn?
And you can see here, like, Imperator wanted to comprehend it, and Rover, like, instead of being like, you fucked up, they're like, what did you learn, you know?
The Threnodian cannot be undone while civilization endureth. But we may yet.
What role does Cardathia play?
When Leviathan merged, I offered knowledge of the resonate. Beings such as we may bear but a single resonator.
And this is another really cool plot point, that Sentinels can only have one resonator. So Fleur de Lis was created to be a resonator pretty much by the Threnodian. Meanwhile, Cantarella was chosen to be Imperator's Sentinel. But since the two were merged, I think you know what that might mean. They would be both destroyed.
By sheer trial, it found success but once. We were of one body. Therefore,
Yep.
when Fleur de Lis but mark this well. To the Sentinel, a resonator is an anchor.
What made you decide to leave Turvin with the Phasaelias?
When first I did merge with the Threnodian, I sought only but to bide, after Fleur de Lis's conception. But had Fleur de Lis fallen to the Threnodian sway, as long as one mortal, using Turvin, passed the second awakening to become, then the law that no being shall bear more than one resonator at a time wouldst have been. This wouldst rend asunder the frequencies of I, Imperator, Leviathan. Such was my intention. Yet Cantarella chose another way.
Not all journey toward a final destination.
Yeah, Cantarella was like, nah, I'm gonna do this my own way.
Take my energy. I will find a way out myself. I trust this will serve to pave the way for you.
She forfeited all the power of the With that newfound power, I did briefly regain.
But that wasn't your original plan.
No. A plan I could not have conceived. Perhaps this is the influence Fleur-de-Lis overcame the fate Leviathan ordained. And so too did though the journey was fraught with...
I don't know if the end justified...
Arbiter.
I can't speak for what I wasn't a part. You did what you could do in that moment. Anyone...
Arbiter. In the funeral...
Call her Cardathea. How do you intend to bring her back?
Remnants of her frequency linger within thy tacit mark. So long as a conduit is established, her frequency shall be reborn into her body. Me.
Horse.
This dying breeze hath little time left. Let it guide her on its final journey. Arbiter. One question remains. Did I fulfill the charge set upon me?
You may rest now, Imperator.
Arbiter, take these words to the Phasaelius. From this day forth, you are free.
Man, I really love this this. After so much that the Phasaelius endured throughout the centuries, cycle can be broken.
Awaken.
You
I am Imperator, a being that owes you a... Dost thou rage at how life has unfolded? Dost thou renounce faith or hold resentment? If thou wishes to forget, I can erase the past from thy memory.
such memories do bring me pain. But that is evidence of their truth. Without the truth, I would not. The truth is a beacon in the maelstrom of my life, and I would rather suffer for it and rejoice in it than I am true to myself. Please.
I have heard thy wish.
If I go, you will be one step closer to perfection.
No. If you do that, I wouldn't be me to deny my own self, and my experiences mean I would be heartless.
Thou hast need of divinity no longer. Though my power hath waned, I now offer thee my blessings. Let the winds of the past depart. The ships of this new era no longer need their guidance. Though the tide's rage is endless, humanity shall embark upon new voyages. No longer shall scroll and prophecy bind, but thy will shall forge a new era. Cardathea, thou art worthy to bear the title of Blessed Maiden.
And as you can see, she no longer has the crown. She's no longer under the Thernodians' effect. Good morning, sunshine.
Righteous one.
Oh, and she still has the longer tacit mark. I wonder if that tacit mark can change. Ah. Because these longer tacit marks are signs of a resonator who resonated with Sentinel. Jinshi and Karthithia have one.
I have never seen you look as gentle as you did during our fight.
Let me ask you this one more time. Should I call you Carthia or Fleur de Lis?
I want to say that it doesn't matter, but since you first met me as Karthithia, that is who I shall be.
Very well. Carthia.
I thought I saw the Sentinel just...
The one who defies has banished herself to the High Tower, cleansing the remnants of the Dark Tide. Yet, she knew not that the Dark Tide would never recede. She shall prove the most loyal servant to divinity.
You are wrong. Humanity has its flaws, and you've exploited our weaknesses. But we shall not go down without a fight.
You are no longer whole. You are not the perfect creation I conceived. Be that as it may, how long shall thy resolve endure?
The righteous will always rise to defeat evil. I will defeat you, and await my own defeat. Whoever it is, the tide of resistance never ceases. False divinity, suffer my disobedience!
So I do feel like this cutscene specific is out of order. I feel like the last part we saw there, we should have seen right after it was revealed that Fleur de Lis was able to strike the Thernodian, right?
Not go down without a fight.
And maybe we would see this one just after the fight with Fleur de Lis.
Will not be oppressed by the Threnodian.
But still, really good cutscenes. Like, really good.
Be free. Light, come hither. Make way for your destroyer. Come to me. Mighty God Killer.
Yeah, see? Because this leads straight into the fight. So I feel like these two cutscenes should have been right before the fight. Oh yeah, and we did get Wave Band. Hello.
Righteous One, please keep what happened between us. Thank you. I know what I want to do now. I want to surpass you. You're strong. Stronger than me.
So here I was thinking, so Karthithia, why does she have the crown again? She just, I guess because that's how her model is. I do wonder if she's going to get the model change for her playable version. Anyway, so Karthia now wants to pretty much just get stronger. And I was thinking, why not go to the Black Shores? There's a lot of powerful people and people with a lot of knowledge there as they're trying to, you know, stop the apocalypse and whatnot. And I feel like that would be one of the best places she could go to actually get stronger. Of course, first traveling Renacita to get her skills in order, and then traveling with the Black Shores and helping them out. I feel like it could have been interesting if we slowly recruit people for the Black Shores, I guess, since that's kind of like the main goal, in a way. Yeah, like, that's the thing. We still don't have, like, a proper main goal in this game, right? Like, in Huangzhong, we just helped people because they found us, and then we got swooped into the main plot, because Jinshi knew of our arrival, And then in Renacita, we just again got swooped by the plot because we got the invite from Carlotta and everything. But we don't have a proper main goal like in Genshin, because in Genshin, your main goal is to... Well, I guess Star Rail doesn't have a main goal either, and for ZZZ, we haven't really learned of it. Well, in Genshin, your main goal is to find your sibling, and then later to find the truth of the world, after your sibling tells you to just go with your journey. In Star Rail, it's pretty much to go on the path of the Trailblaze. And in ZZZ, I guess it's to uncover the truth behind the disaster that struck the city. But in Wu, it doesn't really feel like, okay, sure, I guess regain your memories and learn of what happened in the past. But I don't know, it's not really pushed that hard. Especially since with Imperator, we didn't really have much of our past revealed, other than we allowed Imperator to have full like access to its code and decision making, right? I hope we do get the proper direction soon, though. And now it's time to actually go talk with Cantarella again. So yeah, pretty much with Carlotta, and I do like how there's this little echo here as well, standing in front of each other, and a little bunny. Aww. Can I? Should I? Well, is she gonna be mad at me? My curiosity, it aches. Okay, you cannot. Oh my god. I shouldn't have done that. What if you could kill this bunny and she would get mad at you? Oh, I feel so bad. Anyway, time to go talk to Cantarella.
Or is there something else you'd have me do?
Well, to be totally fair, it is a 5-star weapon if I recall correctly, but then again, it's not a pistol, so I don't really care that much. I want you to make peace with Montellis.
Do you intend to mediate between the two families?
Well, I guess since I'm here, why not?
Tiresome feuds rarely last, but alas, there is only so much light. Some disagreements lie not only between families. How fortunate I now find. If you're interested, I'd gladly teach you how to.
Before I forget, Imperator left a message.
Tell me. I'm ready.
From this day forth, you are free.
I'll remember that.
Yeah, this is a Telltale's moment. Cantarella will remember that. But yeah, no, I really like this.
I've spent so long preparing for this day.
Yeah.
A few more will make a difference.
I'll take my leave then.
More tea before you go.
Now, I just now realized something. So, we haven't talked with the Montellis or with anyone else. Like, at this point, it's only Carthia and Cantarella that there's so many characters with a C in their name that know about the death of the Sentinel and everything else. What? That's interesting. Also, this is a Rover Arrow specific weapon, which is even more interesting. Anyway, so like, what's gonna happen? Next patch is the anniversary patch, and we're going to have Zani and Chacona. So I do wonder exactly what's gonna happen, and if we're going to actually get some proper story in that. Yeah, let me go as I talk, because I do have to fight. Avian. Okay. Really? I cannot actually fast travel to her? Why is she not open? And it's time to fight Fleur-de-Lis with my pistol team. Because I had to use I almost said Traveler. Arrow Rover to do this initially. I also now realize I haven't really talked about Cantarella's current power status, right? But I think I'm going to talk about that in the next episode, which is going to be all about whatchamacallit.
In the name of the Montanes.
I'm literally getting like stuck in between the C characters. Carlotta's story quest, because her, alongside soon to be Chacona, will be the only characters I can actually do story quests for, because, well, they have pistols. And because the character story quest will most likely have the character as a trial, I do have to only really do pistol characters for those, because otherwise I would I would have to use a different weapon during, you know, a time where I don't have to use one. Like story quests, I don't count like main quests where I do have to use the rover from time to time or a different character. But yeah, the fight actually isn't even that hard, to be totally fair, and I do like. Where is it? Where's the echo? Oh, there's the echo. The echo is the sword. Actually, it's not the same sword as the one that Katatia turns into. It's actually the sword of the and it's fleur-de-lis. I'm actually curious about that. Sorry, I think I have to. Why not claim? Let's claim these. Exit. Maybe that's a phantom and you can actually apply it to it. I guess not. I was wondering if maybe you could have you have a phantom for it that makes it turn into the normal sword that Kartathea uses, like into Turvin, but I guess that is not the case. Though, to be fair, I will have to farm for Chacona this one, so yeah. That's what I'll pretty much do during the week I will be gone for Easter. I'll be pre-farming for Chacona, because I believe that a lot of the things will already be, or should already be in the game for her, because we just had a map expansion, and I'm not really expecting one in the next patch, to be totally fair with you guys. But yeah, in the next episode, I will go over Carlotta's story quest and also go over her current build, which is pretty darn good if I do say so myself. But yeah, the story for this patch was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I feel like there should have been a bit more focus on Cantarella, but you know, we did get her story, her backstory and everything, but I feel like she should have been a bit more present during the time we spent in the Avinoleum, or whatever it's called. But then again, this is supposed to be Kartathea's like home, you know, as she studied to become the Blessed Maiden, so it does make a lot of sense that she would be the one with the focus while we're here. Anyway, story was amazing, and I really cannot wait to get Kartathea on my main account, but that's besides the point for this series. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this video, why not leave a like, comment, or even subscribe? I want to thank you guys for watching and hope to see you all in the next one.